You guys are in Florida. Ron DeSantis gets a lot of headlines for screaming at children, wearing masks, and taking his wife who has cancer to an unmasked New Year's Eve event in a crowded place. And, what else? The Don't Say Gay bill and trying to out Trump Trump. And it's all objectionable. I mean, we could do a whole show just on the Don't Say Gay bill, which is horrendous. And totally he's playing to culture war and, homophobia and all those things. But he's also doing a lot of things that are dangerous to planet Earth. And the interesting thing about that, Peter, I remember when we were talking, when DeSantis first got in, you said, yeah, I mean, I didn't want him to win, but of all the Republicans, he actually did put out some good stuff on the environment.
He has.
So that was like a saving grace that this mini me to Trump at least had some good environmental policies. Well, now it seems DeSantis, Florida's monopoly, Florida Power and Light, are essentially basically repealing all, or for the most part, subsidies that Floridians could get for solar panels in order to give a big wet kiss to Florida Power and Light. Can you explain this for non-Floridians? Because the more I read about this, it is a giant scam and very dangerous to planet Earth.
Yeah. DeSantis wasn't always horrible. I mean, like, he has done good things for the environment, in all fairness.
Honestly.
And this isn't him as much as it's our legislature. That's the thing.
I think, DeSantis, when COVID hit and he saw his opportunity to basically become the new leader of the GOP because of how much Trump failed leading this country during COVID, he saw his opportunity to not run for re-election of governor of Florida, but to run for president of the United States while running for re-election of governor of Florida.
He's running for both at the same time.
So when that happens, you start making the type of deals with the type of titans of industry that can provide you with the necessary finances to run a countrywide race. That's why he's been to Buffalo. That is why he has already gone to Iowa. So when somebody who is intending to run for president starts making those types of moves, you have to also understand that he's going to start making moves. Because one thing about Florida Power and Light is that while it is the energy monopoly of Florida, it's a subsidiary of NextEra Energy. And we all know, who NextEra Energy is, Jordan. They own those pipelines, baby, especially up, Dakota Access. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so right now, especially with what's going on in Russia, you would think if there was any sensibility in the United States, it would be, man, if there ever is a time where we have to move to a clean energy grid, it's right now. If President Biden was thinking like an FDR, who apparently is his inspiration, he would be declaring a national emergency and implement the Defense Production Act and start building out those solar fields out the yin-yang. But unfortunately, here in Florida, we have a very big problem. Senate Bill 1024, which was written by FP&L, Florida Power and Light.
They wrote it themselves.
Mm-hmm. They wrote that.
So to be clear, so the audience understands this, because I want to make it appealing to everybody.
Yeah.
In everybody's states, you usually have monopolies for cable, Comcast or Spectrum. You got monopolies for healthcare in some places. In a lot of places, you got either one major energy company or two. In Florida, you got Florida Power and Light. Florida, obviously, on the chopping block in the bullseye of the climate inferno. So you guys are saying Florida Power and Light, who's bought off a lot of Republicans in the state, Democrats as well. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, by the way. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Peter, can you do your Debbie Wasserman Schultz?
Well, look, if you want me to do Senator from Vermont, I will tell you that I do not like that Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She unfortunately has done a lot of bad for this country. So, yes.
Thing with them, but on our state level is like, this is what the real problem is. And we actually he's going to name the names. There are 3 state senator Democrats that voted for this nonsense.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So do you want me to explain what net metering means?
Yeah, I want you to explain what exactly is the scam going on that's in the bill.
Okay, so since we've started having solar here, it's gone through so many phases. Like originally when you would put up panels, because we had them on my last house, they were offering huge rebates and subsidies, and there was all this incentive to do solar, which is what we should have. Like that's the correct policy. And now what we're seeing is the current bill is going to take away what's called net metering. Net metering is what allows people who have solar to sell back to the utility company unused power that they have, that they don't need. And I can't do this. I can't explain the exact science of it, but it's a huge incentive for solar. And it really is what we need to subsidize the cost for solar. Like that, it's just the correct policy. So this bill will completely get rid of what's called net metering. There will no longer be any financial incentive sell back for people that do solar. And it's a huge thing. Like it's a big, and it's being, nobody's even talking about this.
And when you think about it,
and can I just point out, Peter, Colin, if we could put this up, obviously these Florida representatives, I mean, DeSantis is obviously going to approve this, even though it's not coming from him. Yeah. Obviously, they're listening.
I'd be shocked if he vetoed it.
Yeah, no, he'll approve it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're listening to the people, so much so that 84% of Florida voters support solar net metering, but Governor DeSantis is going to gut it anyway. This is from the article.
I hate that they put it on him. And I'm not saying I like him. I'm not at all. But this bill was written by FP&L, pushed through our state legislature. And yeah, he's going to sign it. He's going to sign it.
There are so many, and this is what I can't stand about the late.
Yeah, but let me just say, I'm not making it only about DeSantis, but these things work together. Florida Power and Light.
Of course.
They know DeSantis is going to give them free reign to do this. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Peter.
and again, when you're running for president and NextEra Energy has the kind of scratch to make you president, or at least be part of that machine, you're not going to pass it up. Unfortunately, that's how it is.
Unfortunately, we haven't had a governor in Florida since Bob Graham, I don't think, that wouldn't sign this.
And
so it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, like our governor before DeSantis was Rick Scott. He would have signed this. Like it isn't like this is a new opportunity because now Ron DeSantis and Jeb Bush would have signed this. Like they
what
all.
About Charlie Crist?
You know what? He would go like that, and then it would make the determination.
Yeah, I mean, again,
he's just a chameleon.
One of the biggest problems that we have that a lot of people should be recognizing is the fact that solar, and we can get into a debate about mining for lithium. There are issues, obviously, with the carbon footprint there, but don't ever compare a lithium battery to burning fossil fuel. There is no comparison. There just isn't. And the other component that, again, is what people need to understand as to why FP&L would do something like this is because solar is sustainable. We are the sunshine state. Fossil fuels need to be replenished over and over again. So you have to keep coming back to them to spend money. This is all about money. And you know how much they spent on lobbying Tallahassee for both Republican and Democrats? $3.2 million. Now,
for this bill.
For this bill alone. And that is a chunk of money. But how much money is FP&L going to profit from by not allowing for solar and increasing use of fossil fuels? It's probably in the billions. So when you spend $3.2 million to make, I don't know, let's say $3 billion, I'd say that's a pretty good investment. And that's why they do what they do. So we are never going to get to where we need to go in terms of the environmental movement until we recognize that both parties have been captured by corporate special interests. This includes Senator Torres, who is supposedly a progressive champion here in the state of Florida.
And that's one of the people that voted for this.
Senator not DeBose, excuse me. Hopefully that won't ever happen. Senator Powell, who I will tell you, Jordan, I was at a Palm Beach County DEC meeting where he got called out by one of the Democrats in the audience about the fact that he signed onto a bill, that was a GOP bill, but he signed onto a bill to privatize our public beaches. He was a deer in headlights, didn't know what to say. And Terry Rizzo, former head of the Democratic Party, love you, Terry, but sorry, you got to get called out here. She stood up and said, we're all Democrats here. We're not getting into a fight here. We're supporting our representative. And then last but not least, you have Senator Bracey up in Orlando, who is currently running for U.S. Congress in Val Deming's vacated seat against a wonderful progressive candidate named Maxwell Frost. If you guys are not familiar with him, Highly recommend you check them out.
That's an opportunity in Florida for us to actually gain a good seat.
That is the only progressive who is running right now
that has an opportunity,
who really has an opportunity to win. And again, he's in that area where Anna Eskamani is, who's a fantastic state representative, as well as Carlos Guillermo Smith. You have
who I'm sure vehemently oppose this nonsense.
100%. And again, I would say, and that's the bad part about being in Southeast.
So can I just ask you? You're highlighting 3 Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying Republicans at the state legislature are against gutting this bill, and it's the Democrats for it?
This is interesting.
This is where it becomes interesting. There were 3 state senators in the GOP who voted no, including Jeff Brandes, who is
we loathe for other reasons.
Yeah. So they needed the Democrats to get behind the bill in order for it to pass.
So basically, there were 3 Republicans who might be shitheads for other reasons that were voting against gutting this.
Correct.
And to get it over the top, they needed 3 Democrats. Wow, that kind of reminds me of the 16 Democrats, 2 years ago that joined Republicans to gut Wall Street regulation and other things.
Yeah.
What about the infrastructure bill that was not supposed to pass until Build Back Better? That was able to pass, even though you had, I believe, 7 or 8 Democrats, including the Squad, Ro Khanna, and Katie Porter, I believe, who refused to vote in favor of the infrastructure bill. And then you know what the Democratic establishment did? They went and found 10 GOPs to vote in favor of the infrastructure bill. Anytime
they're all the same
corporate
people.
Special interests have a bill that they want to get through, they're going to get it through. That's all you need to know.
When it comes to corporate stuff and economic stuff, they're all the same.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.